Okay, so it's 8:04, and just to let you know that we are streaming live on different platforms and on YouTube. If you have individuals who might have missed tonight's presentation, you can share the link with them. So if you have not yet subscribed to Dr. Thomas's YouTube page, we're encouraging you to do that. And once you get to the page, you will go to live and you will see all the live events that were previously held. That's where they're housed. So you can always go back and watch them or share them as you see fit. Okay, Latoya, over to you.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 90-day Body Reset Insulin Seminar Series. We're truly excited to have you here tonight. So whether you're joining from just curiosity, personal health goals, or just a desire to better understand your body, you're in the right space at the right time. Tonight is not just about information, it's about a transformation. It's about equipping you, your family member, your friends, your co-worker with knowledge that can literally just change the trajectory of your health. And as Paula mentioned, we have persons online here tonight who have joined previous challenges before. So you're in the right place. And it's just to change the trajectory of your health and your whole lifestyle. So settle in, stay present, get ready, because what you're about to hear has the potential to unlock a new level of wellness for you. The 90-day Body Reset Challenge is exactly what it sounds like. It's a structured, intentional journey designed to reset your body from the inside out. You will see it on your skin, you will feel better inside, and it will show outside. It focuses on correcting imbalances from the root level, especially things like insulin resistance, as you will hear Doc speak about, poor metabolic function, chronic inflammation. So rather than just fixing quick fixes or temporary diet, this challenge tonight is about retraining your body, how it processes food, regulates your hormone, and produces energy. So it's a system built on consistency, discipline, science-backed lifestyle changes over a 90-day period. And let me tell you, based on how it impacts your whole life, after the 90-day, you will want to come back for more, because real transformation takes time. It's not about shortcuts. So now here's the exciting part. What's in it for you? Participants in this challenge can experience improved blood sugar control, increased energy level, weight loss and fat reduction, better blood pressure regulation, sharper mental clarity, and in many cases, a reduction in dependency on medication. So welcome. This challenge is not about looking better. It's about living better, living longer, and living stronger. Over to you, Paula.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Latoya. And we have some folks who have joined us since we've started. So just a reminder that tonight's session is open to your friends and family members, your colleagues, anyone who has pre-diabetes, diabetes, or hypertension, tonight's session is for them. So we ask that you share the link so that they can join and benefit from tonight's presentation. All right, so now we're going to ask Marcia to give us our opening prayer.
Thank you so much. Let us pray. Father, we are truly grateful for another day. Thanking you for your love and your mercies towards us. We are grateful for this first day of the challenge, and we're thanking you that we've made it thus far. It has been a good day thus far, Father, and we look to you to take us through the coming days. We ask even now that you bless us tonight as we go into this presentation. We ask, Lord, that you continue to bless our presenters, and we ask that even as we listen, that you will help us to be very keen, that there will be understanding, and that we will be able to apply those things that we are learning tonight to our daily lives. These and other mercies we look to you by faith, and we tell you thanks in Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen, Marcia. Thank you for that. All right. So for tonight's wellness activity, I want you guys to ask yourself, how am I feeling? How am I feeling right now? You could type it in the chat and just answer yourself. Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling upset? Are you angry? Do you feel lonely? Confused? Sleepy? Overwhelmed? Excited? Happy? Optimistic? Just think about it. Someone is saying they feel content, energized, tired. Sometimes we don't stop and ask ourselves, how am I feeling? Feeling sleepy and tired, feeling optimistic. Very good. So I want us to do that on a regular basis where you just stop and check in with yourself. And you'll be surprised to see when you stop to check in, that's when you realize how tired you're feeling or how your energy is low. Someone said they feel frightened because they soon light. Okay. Energized, feeling grateful. Just think about how you're feeling. And so what I want you to do, I want you to rub your hands together just to create some friction, create some heat. And if you're having a headache, or if your knee's hurting, or your back is hurting, or your wrist, or wherever is hurting, just put your hand on that body part where you're feeling the pain or you're feeling tired, right? So touching your skin with your hands act as a powerful self-soothing mechanism, right? So just feel that heat on your skin. And also when you do that, it helps to lower your heart rate. It reduces anxiety just by touching your skin, just sending that heat. And if you want to rub it again and rub again just to generate more heat. And someone is saying they have a lot of back pain, and you could put it back there where you're feeling the pain. And so, again, talking about emotion and how it's going to give you that feeling like it's okay. Basically, that's what you're telling yourself. It's okay. And so you're telling your body, I get it. I'm feeling whatever way I'm feeling. But that touch, that warmth will tell you that it's okay. Things will get better. All right. So if you've done the exercise, you could go ahead and type in the chat how you're feeling. Did it improve a little? Do you now feel centered, and are you ready for tonight's presentation? So, again, like I always say, if you're somewhere where there's a lot of distraction, if the television is on or the radio, or someone is talking or you're on the phone, we want you to get away from that distraction and be fully immersed in tonight's presentation. And as we do these wellness activities, when we have these seminars, we hope that you will continue to do them to help to boost your, and when you're feeling anxious or whatever, help to calm you down or just to give you a little mental health boost. So tonight we're going to move on. We have two testimonials. One person wants to remain anonymous, and Latoya will read that testimonial for us. And then we have someone who is going to give a testimonial, and she is from our 21 day. Miss Jeremiah, are you on?
Yes, Paula. This
Go
is
ahead.
Nadine
Nadine,
Atkinson.
yes, aka Jeremiah, yes.
Jeremiah 29:11.
Yes. All right. So
Okay,
welcome to our seminar. And so
thank you.
we have some new folks who are on. We just started our 90-day body reset program, and they would love to hear your testimonial and the successes.
Okay, all right. Okay, so good night, everyone. Good night. And I know all of us have been feeling much better than the day before, the year before, months before. And my name is Nadine, and I started this 21-day challenge back in December of 2024. And what really led me to get started, I was so overwhelmed with every single thing, everything. I did not know what my body was actually going through at the time, didn't know what was happening to me. I was just feeling just so unhappy. There are times I used to have like mild suicidal thoughts, I'm telling you. And I'm a child of God, but I'm like, I used to ask myself, why am I going through this? It never used to be like this. And everybody telling me, oh, it's because you reach age 50, going up into 50s. And I used to tell myself, no, there must be another way out. And that was a time when I went searching on TikTok. And there I went and I found Dr. Thomas. And thank God for Dr. Thomas. It doesn't matter which doctor I have here in Canada. Dr. Thomas is my number one doctor. He has saved my life through Christ. It has to be God who sent that man on TikTok that day. When I took that day off from work, went through my company counselors and was just talking. You know, my hubby he had a brain surgery, and that actually pushed my health a little further down. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy dealing with it. And I started out at 245. I was just gaining weight, and I didn't know what to do. Like, I tried everything. I take pills. I try everything. Nothing couldn't work. Nothing at all. And when I found Dr. Thomas and this 21-day challenge, and the first thing I heard, he said, we're going to be doing OMAD and intermittent fasting. I'm like, what is this? 1 meal per day? I'm going to die. I'm going to starve. And those were my thoughts. And, I'm telling you, I've gone through a lot, a lot. And I started this journey, not to feel better or to look better, but to stay healthier moving forward. And that's my biggest transformation, moving from 245 to 163 pounds as of this morning before I eat anything. 163 pounds. And I am so grateful, so grateful. Not taking any pills more than my regular Live Good supplements. And I am following the challenge to the T. Nobody can tell me to do this and to do that. Somebody reached out to me and said, Nadine, you look so slim. Are you sick? Are you taking, I even talked to Dr. Thomas about it. And they asked me if I'm taking this thing that they
Ozempic.
get diabetic, something that makes
Ozempic.
people get Ozempic. And I'm like, well, I spoke with Dr. Thomas, and Dr. Thomas said, introduce them to the Ozempic doctor. Dr. Thomas, no Ozempic, no pill, nothing, just eating clean. There are days you're going to feel like you want to cheat. It's all in us. It's still going to be there, right? But if you know what you want, you can get whatever you set out to do, And since that day until now, I've been following the challenge, and it has been a blessing, a great blessing. Everybody in my house has been transformed. My husband is well since that brain surgery. Myself is well. I show Dr. T my blood works. My blood sugar, it was like pre-diabetic. Everywhere in my body was dark, I'm not using any bleaching powder, nothing at all I'm using. It's just clean food that has changed my body from a black color to a normal color that God wants me to look like, and life took a turn, after my hobbies get well. I've been going through like perimenopause, premenopause. I couldn't sleep. I can't eat well. As I said, I've been going over eating different junk food, snacking at night at my drawer in the office. I have different snacks, all different kind of snacks, peanut, everything. And I could not do without snacking. Could not. And I could not go to my bed without snacking in the nights. Morning, I have to have breakfast. Lunch, I have to have dinner. Lunch and dinner. And in between those, I am snacking, And I was watching my blood work, and my blood sugar was 5.9, and it goes down from 5.9 to 5.8, 5.7. I'm watching it going down. And today, as of this morning, it was 4.7 just after I get up in the morning. And every morning, or most morning, for the past 6 to 7 months, I've been maintaining this. I've reached my desired goal of 165, but I'm still following the challenge. So I'm at 163. So I don't want to lose any more. Look, my neck is getting so long. Before, nobody used to me like this. Before, my neck was like this. And one of the member will show you my before and after, just after I finish talking. And I could able to look at my neck and feel it and put my hands around my neck. I can sleep. My hubby said I'm drawing some snore going down Spur Tree Hill. And those are healthy snoring, guys. I couldn't sleep. My feet was tingling. My toenails were very dark. I didn't want to wear slippers. My nails were dark. Doctor said I have iron problem, but yet still my iron comes back normal. So why my fingernails were so dark? And they're no longer dark. And I only realized that they were dark maybe about a few months ago. So everything in my body has transformed. Everything, guys. And even like my back pain, I used to have really bad back pain, neck pain, carpal tunnel in my hands, every single thing. It's just that I did not have high blood pressure, thank God. But I'm still doing the challenge, and I'm watching it, the fact that I'm doing this weight challenge, this healthy lifestyle, right? So I have my blood pressure machine, I have my sugar machine, I am not a diabetic, I'm not pre-diabetic, but I have them to keep a track of my numbers. And I would advise anybody out there, who are thinking, remember, your health is wealth, and nothing is more important than your health. When you have health, you can do everything. There are times I didn't even want to go to church. I just feel sluggish, didn't want to move, didn't want to do nothing. I used to be dancing and jumping in my house. I couldn't do that anymore. Why? Because of all the inflammation that was in my body, you know, and I did not know. I did not know. I used to have little patches on my legs, didn't know what was it. Doctor said it's okay. It's because I'm aging. And now the doctor see me asking me, what am I doing? The doctor in Canada, she wants the number to call the doctor, Dr. T. And I said, I will surely give it to you, doctor. Why? Because God has sent Dr. Thomas for a reason. And I just want to thank God for Dr. Thomas, because he has been a blessing in my life. He has caused me to live one more time.
Okay.
It's not easy moving from 245 to 163, guys. And I will just leave you with this. Nothing change if nothing change. And if you do not change something, change your mindset, you will always remain in that position and become a slave, remain a slave to food. We don't live to eat. We don't eat to live. We live, no, what should I say? We don't live to eat. We eat to live, to survive, right? So let us not be a slave unto food, because the type of food that we're eating, if we don't know the right food, we will never ever be healthy. Nobody can catch me with certain oil in my house right now. It doesn't matter how expensive oils are. It doesn't matter. I used to love cornmeal, turned cornmeal. I stopped eating bun and cheese. Easter pass. And I decided I'm not buying it. If anybody wants to buy it, go out there.
No, with Dr. Monday.
Yes, doctor.
It's Uda
Somebody said
talking. Please, they didn't mute. All right, Nadine. So we thank you so much.
Someone will show you my before and after. I think is Elizabeth. I'm not sure.
Yeah, she's not gonna be on tonight. I'm not sure if Latoya has it, but I know Latoya, we're gonna have a little change in schedule. So Doc is gonna go. I know we have another testimonial that we'll read maybe another time. But thank you so much,
no
Nadine.
problem.
And I love your shirt. Move your hand. Let's read it.
I'm living my best life.
And so for those in the group, let's send up some emojis.
I am 54 and I'm feeling blessed. Thank you, Dr. Thomas, and thank you to all the admin in the groups.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that wonderful testimony. And for those who are listening, I hope that you're encouraged. It's just one step at a time, and you will get there. And Nadine is here as a living testimony. So Nadine, they're sending up some emojis for you. And
thank you everyone
in the chat. So thank you for sharing. And so we're gonna go on. Doc is going to do his presentation now.
Hi, everybody. Good night. Yes, I am really elated having heard Nadine, really pumped up. This is what we love to hear, that our work is bearing fruit. And I do this work. 1 second, let me just try to get my thing on TikTok here to render properly. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm trying to go live on TikTok, but it's giving me some form of background. I guess it will have to stay. I won't be able to fix that now. Anyway, so Nadine, really happy to again hear you give this testimony. And it's just an example of how following simple lifestyle changes can transform your life, how diseases that we thought that were irreversible are now reversible. So I'm on here every couple of weeks and doing videos almost every day to promote an exciting set of information, knowledge that I've become acquainted with. And it's like when a new Christian hears the word of God and meets Jesus Christ, they're excited to share and go out and tell. So I'm excited about what I do because I know people are out there dying with hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterol, heart disease, and I'm seeing people who are getting over these problems every single day, reversing them. And so why would I not want to share that news with you? So I'm so happy that so many of you have come out to hear this news, because tonight I'm going to share with you something that is going to be the first time many of you are hearing it. And I'm going to try to restrain my excitement a little bit, maybe not, to be able to communicate with you something that's going to be life-changing for somebody tonight. And the presentation tonight is about hypertension and insulin. So tonight, I'm going to share with you evidence and explain how hypertension is a reversible disease. You do not have to live on medication for hypertension. It's completely reversible. And for many people, that has not been the reality because we've been treating for far too long symptoms. And I'll show in my presentation where many of my colleagues, Dr. Jeff Bland, the founder of functional medicine, does not even believe hypertension is a disease. It is a symptom of something that has gone wrong in your body. And like many of diseases I talk about, once we find the root cause, reversal is possible. And so tonight, I'm going to make a bold statement that many medical doctors listening tonight will think I'm crazy. But as you just heard, and as I would have seen over and over again, these diseases can be reversed completely, and people can come off medication completely. And so while for some medication might be necessary at the outset to actually prevent a catastrophe, living on medication for hypertension is now an option that you can choose or not choose without causing your life to crash, right? Because left untreated hypertension is really dangerous. So let me get right into the presentation tonight. Sorry for the filter for those who are on TikTok.
Okay, so we're having some technical difficulties. We just lost Doc, so give us a few minutes. Paula?
Okay. All right, Latoya. I have Nadine's video, if we can get it up so folks can see her before and after. I think Doc is back.
Yes.
He's back.
What happened just now? Let me try again to share my screen so I can get the presentation. Hold a second, guys. Let me try and get this up. Not sure what happened just now. Let's try this one more time. So for those who are on TikTok, please follow the page so you can be notified when I go live again in a few days. Tonight, we're going to talk about hypertension and how you can reverse it completely and come off medication completely. That is what we're going to talk about tonight. And I know I'm not crazy. I can say this because I've seen it over and over again. I'm trying again to share my screen. Yes, I suspect you can see my screen now, Sister Wellness. You can, right?
Not yet.
We're seeing it, but you're
Yeah.
sharing, but you're not sharing the pictures or
No,
your
I think each time
presentation.
he tries to share his screen, he gets disconnected from the live. I'm not sure what's happening. Give us a few minutes. He will try to rejoin.
Alrighty, so for those individuals who are on, again, feel free to share tonight's invitation link with your friends, family members, colleagues, anyone who has hypertension or having any insulin issues. All right, so you want to invite them to come on, and after hearing Nadine's testimony, guys, we definitely need them to come on to hear tonight's presentation. And again, the presentation is on Dr. Thomas's YouTube page. You go to live and you'll find it, so you can share the recording for folks who are unable to make it. Are
All
you
right.
back? You're back. All right, go ahead.
I'm back, but I'm not gonna share screen. Unfortunately, it's not working. It's kicking me off. So you can see me, right? And you can hear me, right?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go without sharing screen because it's not working out at all for some reason. So I'm gonna go without sharing screen. So just bear with me. Let me get my presentation up on my laptop so I can see it. And then I can just present from there. Just a second, guys. All right, so hypertension is a significant problem for the Caribbean especially, and worldwide. Worldwide is estimated about 1 billion, yes, of the world's population has hypertension. In the Caribbean, of adults, about 46% of adults are hypertensive. And Jamaica is among the worst in terms of hypertension statistics. So of adults over 40 specifically, over 40% of Jamaicans are hypertensive. This is a significant burden. So hypertension is the number one non-communicable disease worldwide, bar none, the number one disease. And of the American population, a recent study found that 93% of Americans are metabolically unhealthy, meaning that 7% of Americans are healthy people, have no metabolic dysfunction at all. Now, while Jamaican statistics may not be as bad, they are not very far behind. Hypertension is described as the silent killer. Hold on. Because it creeps up on you silently. In the early stages, without checking your blood pressure, you will not know that you have it. So it's important to check it and to know what normal and what abnormal is. Now, I'm going to tell you some numbers here that are going to help you to understand what hypertension is, because there's a lot of misconception. Now, normal blood pressure for an adult over 18 is 120 at the top, over 80 at the bottom, or less. If your blood pressure is 121 over 81 or more, it is not normal. So let's make that clear. So the normal blood pressure is 120 over 80 or less. Now, the American Heart Association in 2017 revised the guidelines. So they have a couple categories. So we have elevated blood pressure being 120 to 129 over 80 or less. So if your blood pressure is 121, 122, 123 at the top, that's an elevated blood pressure. You're not hypertensive yet. If your blood pressure becomes 130 to 139 over 80 to 89, that is classed as stage 1 hypertension. So you go to your doctor and doctor says blood pressure is 130 over 80. That is not normal. That is stage 1 hypertension. If it's recorded on more than one occasion, at least 2 weeks apart. If your blood pressure makes it to 140 or more, over 90 or more, that's stage 2 hypertension. And if it's over 180, over 120, then that is called a hypertensive crisis. You're in an emergency. And if the blood pressure doesn't go down rapidly, something significant might happen. You might have an event, i.e. stroke, heart attack, something of that nature. You are in the middle of having organ damage. Your kidney and blood vessels are actively being damaged, the blood pressure is at that level. And at all these levels, you might be perfectly symptomless. You might have no symptom at all. You will not necessarily know. So that headache that you claim you can use to know your hypertension is high, your pressure is high, is completely false. Very few people will have any symptom. Now, there are 3 categories of hypertension that I'm going to talk about, and you're going to decide what category fall in if you have hypertension based on some important information I'll give you. So the first category of hypertension or type is white coat hypertension. White coat hypertension refers to persons whose blood pressure will go up in a doctor's office and be normal at home. So those persons' blood pressure go up when they are anxious, agitated, and in that setting of a doctor's office, people's minds begin to race. And sometimes they don't even recognize that's happening. You may have a little heart racing or they feel a little jump in the chest when the blood pressure cough goes on. And those persons, when they go home and check their blood pressure, it's normal. So that's called white coat hypertension. About 15 to 70% of persons fall in this category of white coat hypertension. So not everybody whose blood pressure is high in the doctor's office is really high. And what happens with these people is that sometimes they get medication. When they go home, they feel dizzy and they even block out because the pressure dropped too low because you're not really hypertensive. And the way to check this, to check your blood pressure at the doctor's office and at home. The gold standard for measuring this is called ambulatory blood pressure monitoring, where we attach a device to you and you go home, sleep, wake up, go to work, come back in 24 hours, and we take it off and check and see what your blood pressure is over 24 hours. So it checks your blood pressure at multiple intervals when you're awake or when you're asleep. When you're not aware of it, to see what your blood pressure is when you're not aware that it's being checked. And with that, we can tell you that you have white coat hypertension. It doesn't mean you're normal. It does mean that you have nothing to worry about. Persons with this have a higher risk of becoming hypertensive eventually and will need some form of intervention, but certainly not medication up front. We move on to the second category, which is secondary hypertension. And this accounts for maybe about 5% of hypertensive patients, maybe up to 10% in some populations. And this is where you can identify easily diseases that raises your blood pressure, such as you might have a thyroid problem, so hyperthyroidism, or even hypothyroidism can cause blood pressure elevation, and that would be a secondary cause. Renal artery stenosis, which is a common, well, not so common, uncommon problem of the kidney, where you're born with narrowing of the blood vessel that feeds your kidney, that can cause hypertension. And there are many other rare causes, increased hormone levels coming out of the adrenal glands and a number of causes. So rare, but if a person comes to the doctor's office in their 20s or 30s with a high blood pressure, especially if it's not responsive to regular medication, then this person needs to be investigated for secondary hypertension. Some doctors, and rightly so, when persons present with blood pressure initially, does these investigations. You do a heart test, you do an ultrasound, you'll do blood work, standard, urine test, standard. Make sure that you don't have a secondary cause of hypertension that can be reversed, because if you have hyperthyroidism and you reverse it or treat it, your blood pressure goes away. Now, the most common reason why people have blood pressure is classified as essential or primary hypertension. And you would be told, if you ask your doctor what causes is that, we don't know, there is no cause. So essential hypertension essentially means that your doctor, and that was me at one time, doesn't know what's causing blood pressure. You're just told that it's genetic, it's lifestyle, and you have to take this medication for the rest of your life. Well, the American Heart Association does recognize that when a person comes with blood pressure of the essential type, a trial of 3 months of lifestyle changes should be attempted before you go on medication, unless, of course, you're in a hypertensive crisis. Then we try to bring it down rapidly to save your life. But the protocol suggests, and rightly so, that lifestyle changes should be the first attempt to reduce the blood pressure and not medication. but there is a cause for essential hypertension, and I'm going to tell you what the cause is tonight. I'm going to explain it to you, and once you get this, once you understand this, blood pressure becomes now much easier to control. Becomes easy to reverse. So I'm giving information here that you would not have gotten elsewhere ever. Some of you will hear this for the first time, and you will light bulb will come on in your head. And that's what I want to do with each of my patients. When I speak to them and when I speak to you, I want a light bulb to come on in your head. Oh, that's what happened. Oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. And if you go out and do something else, then of course, you are a blind man. Hypertension is important because it causes complications, heart attacks and heart disease like heart failure, kidney failure, circulation problems, stroke, dementia, blindness from retinopathy, erectile dysfunction in men are complications of high blood pressure. So reversing it is kind of important. Dr. Jeffrey Bland and many of my colleagues and people who are in functional medicine do believe that hypertension is not really a disease. It's a symptom of a disease. There is a reason behind why you have essential hypertension. So hypertension itself is not the disease per se. This underlying cause is called, and you guessed it, insulin resistance. Hence why I dubbed this talk hypertension and insulin. I'm not talking about hypertension and diabetes. I'm talking about hypertension alone. Insulin resistance is the underlying cause for the metabolic syndrome. And hypertension is a part of the metabolic syndrome. Now, every doctor knows hypertension is part of the metabolic syndrome, but we oftentimes just think it's just associated with it in some way, not realizing that it is in it because all the diseases in the metabolic syndrome have one singular cause, and that's high insulin. So the obesity, the high blood sugar, the low HDL, the high triglyceride, the excess fat around the tummy, the sleep apnea, the PCOS, the dementia, the hormone-related cancers are all related to, are all directly caused by hyperinsulinemia. And I'm going to explain in detail some complex medical physiology and pathology so that even a caveman can understand. That's what I'm going to do tonight. So metabolic syndrome is one disease with one cause having many symptoms. So the symptoms of metabolic syndrome are hypertension, diabetes, high HDL, low LDL, high waist circumference, hormone-related problems in women, cancers, one disease. And if you treat that one disease, all of those symptoms will go away. It's really very simple. And I want it to be as simple as possible. So as a testimony I was given last night from one of my patients in Cayman Island, she said, I said, and I will stick by it, the same diet for hypertension is the same diet for diabetes, the same diet for cancer, is the same diet for losing weight, because you're treating one problem. And so when you hear the lady came on tonight from Canada and said she went from 240 odd pounds down to 160 pounds on my challenge, that her blood sugar, her prediabetes went away, her skin cleared up, her blood pressure is perfectly fine. We did one thing and 5 diseases went away. And that's not a miracle. It's just simple, basic common sense. If you treat the cause, everything that is a result of that cause will go away. So we have a disease, a disease called AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. And AIDS is caused by the HIV virus. So AIDS is not the HIV virus. So you can have HIV virus and then that compromises your immune system and give all the diseases that we call the syndrome of AIDS, right? So that HIV virus breaks down the immune system and results in thrush in your mouth and your throat. It results in cancers on your skin. It results in problems with your brain. It results in all sorts of diseases in your lungs, PCP, pneumonia, and all different diseases begins to, when you get those diseases, you call that AIDS. Now, if you suppress the virus in your body, yes, down to a low level, because all those diseases begin to disappear. The cancers on your skin will clear up. Yes. The lung infections stop coming. The throat infections go away when you get rid of the virus. And we've been able to suppress the virus at low levels. And so it's the same thing. Treating the cause gets rid of all the associated diseases. And this is really very simple, basic maths. The medicine of your body is not complicated. You do not require medication to be taken forever. In the short term, if your blood pressure is very high and you're going to die, of course. And in the first few weeks of a very high blood pressure, you might need medication to keep it down. But if you follow what I'm going to teach you tonight, which is not easy for most people, but if you follow the instructions tonight, you can begin the process of getting yourself off drugs that you personally, I know you don't want to take them. It pains some people's heart to take these drugs every single day. And if I were hypertensive, it would pain my heart to take these medications. So let me go through some important things now before I get into the meat of the matter, right? So what is insulin resistance? What is this thing that I'm saying is the cause of hypertension? Well, insulin is a hormone that is essential for life. You need it because it performs some important functions in your body. Insulin resistance occurs when your body stops responding to insulin and the insulin level as a result goes up higher. I oftentimes tell this story, and I'm telling it again tonight, of this young man I grew up in Spanish Town. He lived in my tenement yard and him get beaten every single day because he was very rude. And I remember distinctly, one day his mother was beating him with a big strap. And the little boy, I don't remember how old he was at the time. He stood there, folded his hands, and was taking a lick, and as if the beating had no impact on him. So I saw over time that the weapon to beat him, to abuse him, had to be upgraded from belt to fan belt to stick to board to stone to be used to try to curb his indiscipline. All that didn't work because the underlying cause for his problem was never addressed. They said, TikTok said my live was flagged for violent and criminal behavior, repeated violators. So I'm telling a story, and TikTok is saying I'm carrying out violent behavior, and I am going to, let me submit a feedback, guys. Let me see. Let me just make this clear. All right, so let me submit a feedback because I don't want to get blocked. TikTok is very sensitive, so I cannot use certain words apparently. All right, let us continue. So essentially, your body responds to high insulin by becoming unresponsive to it. And as your body becomes unresponsive, your body upgrades the weapon of choice from a little bit of insulin to a lot of insulin. So the body begins to produce more and more insulin to get the blood sugar down. So insulin resistance is a state where your body produces more and more insulin and your body becomes more and more unresponsive to it. Now, as I said, insulin has some important roles, and I'm going to get into those roles in a minute. But there are some drivers for insulin that I want you to be aware of, because this is where the cause comes. It's what you did to cause your problem. So the most common cause of insulin resistance is high insulin. So whatever you do to make insulin high, such as eating refined carbs and sugar, such as the porridge. So I got a question yesterday. So Doc, the person asked, what about banana porridge with cinnamon and pink salt. So I'm gonna make a video to answer that question, but listen now. So porridge in our Caribbean context is a hot meal, cereal, beverage if you wish, made from a carbohydrate base, and the carbohydrate of choice can be banana, carb, plantain, carb, oats, carb, rice, carb, cornmeal, carb. What else is in my porridge? I don't know. Arrowroot, carb. And you add to that carb sugar in the form of condensed milk, Lasco, or just plain sugar on top of that. So you have carb on top of sugar. So whatever version of porridge you want to make, I am still saying porridge will send up your sugar and your insulin and make you hypertensive and diabetic. Me don't talk. Some business 101 say no porridge. Not in my challenge. All right. So excess carbohydrate will send up your insulin and give you high insulin. Constant eating and snacking. So this idea of eating multiple times a day and snacking. So if you eat 3 meals a day plus 2 snacks, which we train the kids to do, it means your insulin, your sugar is going up 5 times a day. So you're having sugar spike, sugar spike, sugar spike, sugar spike, and concomitantly insulin spike, insulin spike. So insulin is almost always high. Insulin doesn't get to go up and come back down to baseline. No, as it's coming down, you eat again. So this idea of eating multiple times a day, that would have been advice given to many people by experts that you should eat multiple times if you have stomach problems. Stomach shouldn't be empty. If you take an insulin, you must eat 3-4 times a day. It is a load of crap. I'm not gonna mince words tonight. It's a bad advice, worst advice ever to eat multiple times a day. 2 times a day maximum. Unless you're breastfeeding or you're a growing little baby girl or boy. So if you're a baby, yes, you're fine. If you're breastfeeding, fine. Otherwise, no, it's not gonna work. If you're diabetic and you're eating 3 times a day, 4 times a day, you're making yourself more diabetic. You're gonna need more medication. Sedentary lifestyle, if you're not exercising, that will cause your sugar to spike. That will cause your muscles to become weak, so they cannot take up sugar. So sedentary lifestyle with eating, which you must, leads to high insulin and hyperinsulinemia, insulin resistance. If you have poor sleep and chronic stress, as I've explained, those things can make you, yes, hypertensive. And one of the common causes is sleep apnea, because sleep apnea, caused by insulin resistance, by the way, you get a double whammy. You have high insulin, plus you're not sleeping, and that sends up your cortisol and adrenaline, and that makes you hypertensive. It's one of the fastest ways to get hypertension. If you snore, you probably have sleep apnea, and you are going to be hypertensive as a result. Very common and potent trigger for hypertension by triggering off your sympathetic nervous system. Now, let me get into some important bits of information here now. This computer is moving very slow. Now, insulin, when it's high, will cause hypertension. So we established that the cause of hypertension, at least essential hypertension, is high insulin. We establish how you get high insulin by eating high carb and sugar foods, not exercising, stress, and not sleeping. Yep, those are how you get high insulin. Now, and yes, I saw a hand go up. Lorela, pick up yourself. This presentation is for you. Number one, insulin is not just a hormone to lower sugar. It has multiple effects on the body. And when you become insulin resistant, the effects on some tissues are amplified. So let me, for the medical persons watching, explain something very key. So when we say you're insulin resistant, it doesn't mean every single tissue in your body is equally insulin resistant. So one of the first tissues to fall is your fat cells. So when your fat cells become insulin resistant, your kidney and liver and other organs are responding still. Your ovaries are still responding very well. And the high insulin, which your resistance causes, is going to make those organs even more susceptible to high insulin. So there are going to be major problems with insulin having effect on organs that they're not supposed to. So let's go into first the kidney. So when your insulin is high, insulin impacts the renal tubules, collecting ducts, distal loop of Henle for the medical students, and it causes those cells in the kidney to retain salt. You get that? So insulin causes salt retention, and if you retain salt, which you're not supposed to retain excess salt, then you will retain water. When you retain salt and water, your blood volume expands, and that's one mechanism how your blood pressure goes up. So insulin is the instigator for salt retention. All right, so that's one. Second mechanism, insulin will activate your sympathetic nervous system. So hyperinsulinemia will cause increased activation of your sympathetic nerves, which will cause vasoconstrictions. Your arterioles constrict, and when they get tighter, blood pressure goes up. That's its second mechanism. Insulin causes this. You can research this, guys. So I'm going to release the slides from this presentation. I'm going to send the link to the link in my bio. And on every single slide are at least 2 peer-reviewed journal articles that proves there's nothing here that I'm saying tonight that is not referenced on my slides. Every information I'm giving tonight, I have journal article, peer-reviewed articles from respected journals tonight for this present. I'm going to release the entire thing so everybody can go and look at it and read journals for themselves to see everything I'm saying has been written down, proven, and peer-reviewed by medical colleagues all over the world. So I'm not saying anything that I made up in my head. Third mechanism, insulin is a growth hormone. So insulin doesn't just cause growth of fat cells, which we already established. Insulin causes growth of muscle tissue. Insulin is a growth factor, and it stimulates the growth of your blood vessel wall. So the endothelial muscle lining of your artery walls is triggered. The growth of them is triggered by insulin. So insulin makes your artery wall thicker, and thus the lumen for blood to flow is narrower. And when you make neuron narrow, what you do to blood pressure, you make it higher. So that's third mechanism. Fourth one, and this one is really important, especially for the men. Insulin destroys the production of nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is what opens blood vessels. That's what makes blood vessels relax so blood can flow free to your penis, to your heart, to your kidney, to your liver, to your brain. Insulin blocks nitric oxide production, and so your blood vessels can't constrict, they will tighten up. And that elevates your blood pressure. But there's one more mechanism I want to explain to you. So there are mechanisms that have been worked out, and I can't go through the journal articles. The New England Journal of Medicine actually had this article from 1993. Yes. 1993, New England Journal of Medicine carried this article that showed the effect of insulin on nitric oxide production. So the mechanism by which high insulin causes erectile dysfunction and hypertension has been elucidated and explained long time ago. Not new information. You just didn't know. Insulin triggers the release of aldosterone. Now the doctors here will know exactly where I'm going with this. Aldosterone is a hormone that acts on your kidneys to make it retain salt. And aldosterone will act on your kidney regardless of the amount of salt you consume. So if you're consuming a lot of salt, aldosterone will retain salt. If you are consuming a little bit of salt, it will retain that little bit of salt. So what is important is not so much that you're consuming or not consuming salt. Any amount that you consume, aldosterone will make you retain it. What is important is that your aldosterone is high. Once it's high, you're going to retain a lot of salt. And that's why when we put person on a low salt diet, the effect on blood pressure is very modest, if any at all. So a low salt diet does not fix the problem of blood pressure, because it's not the salt intake that's the problem. It's the insulin that is high that's causing the aldosterone to be high. That's the problem. So you can eat as much salt as you want. You can eat none at all because and you're gonna need salt, right? So salt in food you eat, even if you don't put any on it, your body gonna retain that salt because that's what aldosterone does. So insulin, by 5 mechanisms, is the cause for essential hypertension. You can't tell me say anyone knows it is insulin, which is caused by sugar and carbohydrate like porridge. So am I blaming porridge for blood pressure in Jamaica? Absolutely. Am I blaming bread? Yes. Am I blaming bun and cheese? Yes. Am I blaming bigger soda and Pepsi? Yes, I'm blaming all them for blood pressure problem. But not just them, I'm blaming our violent society, high stress. I'm blaming lack of activity, especially among our middle-aged and older people. I'm blaming the bleaching at night where you're not getting enough sleep. So all of those things contribute because they all raise insulin. All right. So I could stop here now. So I know exactly what's causing the problem. It's just remove all those things from your life, which is what we do in the 90-day body reset. So that's what we're promoting tonight. Today we started 90-day body reset with a lot of people. Many people started today, but we know that there are still some waiting to come on. And I see in your messages, I have over 500 people who message me and I message them back waiting to come on. Just waiting for you to sign up the form and activate your account so you can join 90 days of exactly what you need to do to reverse your high blood pressure, your diabetes, your high cholesterol, and come off those medications that I know and you know you don't like. All right. So the 90-day body reset, to join it, you go to the link in my bio right up here. So you click 90-day body reset. So once you click the link in my bio, you'll see Linktree/Thomas Medical Center. Click on it, takes you to my Linktree, which shows you 21-day, 90-day body reset. Boom, click that, fill up the form, make the payment of $99 and you're in. Just send the screenshot to us and we will add you to our 90-day body reset. So if you're on the live now, please follow me. Follow the page right now. Everybody, you do not want to be missing this kind of information. Second, you want to go to that link now and sign up for the 90-day body reset. And you will be able to pay from anywhere in the world. So there are people on it from Africa, North America, Caribbean islands, Europe, Middle East. Nobody from the Far East yet. Nobody from Antarctica yet. But one day. All right, let's move on. So we're just talking about low salt is not the solution for your blood pressure. It's lowering your insulin. So if you eat a lot of salt and your insulin is low, which I eat a lot of salt, if you never know. So I have pink salt, Celtic sea salt, regular salt, meat salt every day. I put salt in my smoothie, put salt in my water, put salt on my curry chicken, put salt on my everything. And my blood pressure normal because my insulin is low. So if your insulin is low, you cannot retain no salt. It's not no genetics. Right? The reason why Caribbean people and black people have so much salt in them that because we eat so much carbohydrate. So we have high insulin and so we're going to retain salt. That is the problem. It's not that you're born with the problem. No, you're not. Not genetic. Nope, sorry to say, you cannot blame your parents for your blood pressure problem. Blame yourself. All right. So the question is in the TikTok page, how to reduce insulin. So let me just skip over a whole heap of these something here that's in the presentation that you'll all get because I'm going to pin it in the link in my bio. So if you want this presentation in its fullest, follow the page. And when I'm finished here, you go to link in my bio, click my link tree, and you can get the presentation. I'll note it, I'll label it hypertension presentation, and you can download it to your phone. It's 60 slides long with a reference on every single slide for the medical person. You can go and research at your liberty. All right. What's the comprehensive plan to reverse insulin resistance and by extension reverse hypertension? I'm coming to a close, guys. 15 minutes more, I'm done. So the plan is one, a low carb diet. I'm going to talk about that. Stress relief, exercise, proper sleep, and become a part of a vibrant, vibesy, and entertaining community of people. So join church, join a community club, join a football team, or join the 90-day body reset. Same difference. So all the things I just mentioned are components of our 90-day body reset. We're going to tell you how to do all these things. But I'm going to give you like a sneak peek. You come here and you've been patient. 900 of you on TikTok, almost 200 of you on Zoom, some of you on YouTube. You've been here waiting. So I'm not going to leave you disappointed, right? I'm going to give you some of the information that I have here tonight. All right. So lower insulin by removing things that trigger insulin. So we would ask you to go on a low carb diet. So it's a no sugar, no grain diet. And for the first 90 days, you're going to cut down even some of the healthy, some of the traditionally healthy carbs that we Jamaican love. So the yam, that make your Usain Bolt run fast. You're not running anywhere, so don't eat it. The potato, that having beta carotene and lots of fiber, you're not really going anywhere to do anything. So leave that out. I'll keep it to a minimum 1 piece. I'll give you 1 piece because it's healthy. 1 piece. Pumpkin, 1 piece. So it's the pumpkin or the potato, not both. Cassava, that gone, pure starch. Dasheen, that gone, pure starch. Sweet potato, the Irish potato, that gone, pure starch. Brown rice, that gone. Brown bread, that gone. So all of the unhealthy starches, leave that out. So what you're going to eat? Simple. If you were in our group this evening, you would see some beautiful, delectable dishes with some fish and vegetable and this and that. People made some smoothies today. Some breakfast I saw in the group from the first day of our challenge is amazing. They said, look at the challenge group, at the group pictures, and my belly full. I don't want dinner again. I don't want the pictures full my belly. We have a nutritionist in the person of Sister Wellness. So you can follow her, Sister SISTA Wellness on YouTube, on TikTok. She is our resident cook nutritionist. She has recipes on her page that are low carb to help you to have fun. So she don't cook like we, she don't chop up yam and dasheen in a pot and cook like a savage. No, she have really beautiful dishes. Talented girl who has, by the way, reversed her lupus with the exact same lifestyle that we're promoting. So yes, lupus gone. She don't have no more rash, no malar rash. She don't have no prednisone and no poison HCQ. She don't have them poison there again. She dash them poison them. She's not on those anymore because they're causing so many side effects and she didn't want the side effects. So she has stopped taking them because her symptoms went away. I'm talking now for the foreign people. Her symptoms cleared. Her disease went into remission, having changed her diet and lifestyle. So her blood work come back normal, normal, normal. All right. Sister Wellness, follow her. Hold on. Oh boy. One of my friends at the University Hospital, a consultant, just told me that she's loving the presentation. Loving the presentation. All right, so sure. University Hospital emergency room is online watching. All right, so everybody I learned tonight. All right, watch me now. The diet is also gonna be not just based on what you eat, but when you eat. So we say every time you eat, you spike your insulin. That follows that the less often you eat, the less spike insulin. That makes sense. All right, if that makes sense, then the diet that people follow in my challenge and that you should follow if you're not doing the challenge on your own is to eat 2 times a day, 1 time a day, and sometimes 0 times a day. So we call that intermittent fasting. 2 times a day, 6 hours apart. Breakfast and lunch or lunch and dinner. Not breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Choose two. Breakfast and lunch or lunch and dinner. We are giving you our internal secrets now, how we be able to transform lives. That's the basis of how I change the lives of 20-odd thousand people. No, I think 30-odd thousand by now over the last 3 years. So we do intermittent fasting. And then on some days we do OMAD, 1 meal a day. So in the first 10 years of our challenge now, people are going to do OMAD twice. You're going to get a taste of what it means to eat 1 meal for the day and feel awesome. And then occasionally we have you do a 1-day fast. This morning, one of my challengers texted me who did the 90-day that she just completed 73 hours of not eating a single calorie. And she felt awesome and was asking if she could exercise on the last day. Lady go eat a soup and relax herself there, man. Can't overdo it now. She felt awesome. Imagine being able to avoid food, burn fat, feel great for days on end because you have learned to curb your appetite. That's what we teach you in the 90-day challenge. So go to the link in my bio, join the 90-day challenge today. We started today, but I'm still allowing a few more persons through the gate because we can't take on too much people because I want everybody to get their attention and get the result. So the very few who get to join are the special people. You are the second most special because you're getting information free. No, I think you're even more special because I'm going to pay for it. I get it free. So I can't get everything. They look like them shouldn't bother pay, right? We give you a little bit more. Can't get everything. Physical activity, you need to exercise. Special types, resistance training, HIIT, different body parts. Not going to give any more information on that because we have our special formula that we use. We have a 5-day cycle that we use. We now give you that information. Stress management, yeah. Morning routine, we have that lock. Meditation routines that helps you. Mindfulness, breathing. We even have a breathing coach that comes on to a challenge and teaches how to breathe and how to relax and how to get the best out of simple breathing. Did you know that breathing can lower your blood pressure? Of course you know that, but you've never tried it. You've been hypertensive, taking the pills every day. A simple thing like breathing that can lower blood pressure, you're not doing that, which is easier, which is cheaper. We'll teach you how to make that fun. Sleep, really, really key. And I have a 20-point plan to improve your sleep. And my challengers are going to get that 20-point plan. You want it? Yep, join the challenge. So we'll teach you techniques how to get better sleep, how to optimize your sleep. And once you do that, now, many of you will know that if you don't sleep one night, your blood pressure will go up the next day. And many of you are getting lack of sleep or poor quality sleep night after night after night. I hear persons that, them boy doc, I work 2 jobs overseas. I sleep 4 hours a night or 3 hours. I don't get to sleep sometimes. No, I understand the circumstances that may lead to that kind of decision. And I would pray that you do not see this as a long-term lifestyle, but as a short-term plan to achieve a goal quickly and go back to a normal routine. That is not a normal life. So if you're doing that, hurry up and make the money so you can stop doing it, because you cannot do that for 10 years and not have serious consequences. People who work at night generally have shorter lifespans than those who do not work at night and get their night's rest. Enough said on that. So my brethren at University Hospital, I now make it look too bad, but I save life. But essentially, they are sacrificing years of their life by saving your life. So try not get too sick and go bother them. Them can go sleeping at the night when they're on duty. Please, I used to be there. It's not nice. Have some mercy on the doctors. Do not get sick. All right. Persons here, I not even sleep 4 hours. Well, join the challenge. We'll help you. Gut health is really key. And we have a detox. So we have our own homemade proprietary detox. And the formula is right here on TikTok, free. You can go look for it. Follow the page and look for it. We have 4 detox options in our challenge that we give you. 2 you buy, 2 you can make yourself. to be able to get gut inflammation down, because gut inflammation is a big driver for insulin resistance and hypertension. We understand that nutrients are needed for your blood vessels to work properly and to be relaxed. Magnesium, very key. 40% of American adults are magnesium deficient. 40%. So there are many times I have persons with magnesium deficiency based on the symptoms they have. They're constipated, they're not sleeping, they have muscle contract, and blood pressure high, they have migraine. All of this magnesium deficiency. Give them magnesium, pressure go down. I have that guy today in the office. The brother come to me with pressure 160 over 90 odd. When him just come. High pressure. Check it about 4 times. High. 4 different times. Put him on magnesium and garlic pill. There's a pill in Jamaica with garlic, turmeric, cayenne. Blood pressure this morning when the guy come was 92 over 70. He said, brother, use that for the garlic. Stop taking the pressure too low. And we doctors know this. If you turn up to a maternity ward having pre-eclampsia, pressure sky high, and you're going to go into a seizure, and you're going to die, baby going to die in that emergency, guess what the doctors give you? They give you an injection of magnesium. We know magnesium lower blood pressure. I don't know why we don't give magnesium to everybody with pressure, because it works. It works. But the baby mothers get it. It's magnesium sulfate. That's what we give them. That's what my gynecologist friends give. That's what I was taught. In the emergency, when the pressure is 150 over 100, preeclampsia is there and eclampsia is on board, mag sulf injection. That is it. Why? Because magnesium relaxes blood vessels and lower blood pressure rapidly and safely. Vitamin D essential. Omega-3 essential. Potassium essential. Potassium, of course, was something that we used to get a lot in our diet because we ate greens and fruits and vegetables. Those things are luxury these days. Potassium foods lower blood pressure because potassium is the antagonist to sodium, which will be retained in your body and cause blood pressure elevation. 5 more minutes. If you are on medication for blood pressure, 2 best medications to take: ACE inhibitors. They do not affect your metabolic health. So these are like enalapril, lisinopril, ramipril. To a lesser extent, the ARBs, and of course, calcium channel blockers like amlodipine, nifedipine. The worst ones to take: thiazides, water pill. They cause insulin resistance. They worsen your blood sugar problems. Can actually cause diabetes, which is kind of the cause of blood pressure, so it kind of worsens the problem. Beta blockers, they put on weight and worsen insulin resistance. So those are the worst ones. The best ones would definitely be ACE inhibitors, ARBs, and your calcium channel blockers. There's a diet called the DASH diet. Dietary approaches to stop hypertension. I must mention it. It's a standard diet recommended. It doesn't go far enough, but it does work to lower blood pressure slightly because it is low in processed meats, low in sugar, and has lots of healthy fats and whole foods. I'm going to be giving you a couple additional bits of information that's going to be helpful here. There's one more thing I want to mention before I cut it off. All right, so the magnesium, it's going to be 400 milligrams once a day. Magnesium can be bought from my Live Good store. That's www.shoplivegood.com/O-Thomas12. Shop Live Good /O-Thomas12. Magnesium is there, omega-3 is there, vitamin D is there. Go and buy them. Factor vitamin D, 5,000 units a day, omega-3, 3 grams a day. It's called factor 4. Additionally, CoQ10, 200 milligrams a day, very good. Berberine, it's used for diabetes, but it's for blood pressure. Why? Because it lowers insulin. Vitamin B6, B9, and B12, Very important to lower insulin. Works with metformin too. L-arginine and L-citrulline, these are precursors of nitric oxide. Take those in supplement form. And of course, garlic. But there's one supplement, one herb that I want to talk about above all. So I'm going to give you the number one herb for blood pressure. It's not garlic. No. It's not coconut water. No. Somebody type it in the comments. What's the number one herb on planet Earth for blood pressure? It's not hawthorn berry. No, no. Yes, there it is. Hibiscus, guys. Hibiscus. That's so tell anybody, hibiscus tea, number one herb for blood pressure. Number one, without a doubt. And I could go through the mechanism, but if I want more views, I'm gonna make a hibiscus herb video to explain to you why I believe hibiscus is the number one herb for blood pressure. So please go and pick off all of them hibiscus blossom off of every hibiscus you see, store it in your kitchen, dry it outside, and use it to make tea. It's now 8:25. I'm gonna have to come off this live. I'm gonna have to call this a day. So I'm gonna summarize for you and invite you all to join the 90-day body reset, where we will give you the 100% of the presentation plus everything else that did not get said to reverse your hypertension and come off medication completely in as little as 3 months. Not in one day. No. Don't dash the pill them and go get no stroke and to make. No, I did not say that. And do not stop going to your doctor. Let the doctor check your pressure and they will help you to take your blood pressure medication as the pressure goes on. It will become unnecessary. You'll be forced to take your because your pressure drop. And that's why pressure drop? Because you're changing your lifestyle. So, takeaways from tonight's presentation. Hypertension is a symptom of an underlying problem. The underlying problem is insulin resistance. Hypertension occurs by 5 main mechanisms. When insulin is high, it causes your renal tubules to retain sodium. It causes your arteries to become thicker because insulin is a growth hormone. High insulin will cause nitric oxide production to be blocked. Yep. High insulin will cause aldosterone to be released, which causes salt retention, even if you're not eating much salt. Yep. And high insulin will trigger off your sympathetic nervous system to release adrenaline into your system and cause blood pressure to go up. High insulin is caused by high carb and sugar intake, porridge, bun, bread, bullock, cake, rice, cornmeal, oats, yam and banana, cocoa and dasheen. If you're eating those foods and you're not burning them off, so listen, if you have an athlete that's running now, if a guy that is climbing trees and climbing the GPS light pole, working on the farm work, eating these foods, yeah, they're gonna burn off most of it and their insulin won't spike. Bodybuilder eating 6 times a day, not gonna have insulin because they're doing so much work. The problem is that many of you are not doing anything and you're eating these foods, and so you're gonna have a problem. Yeah? Not sleeping enough, high insulin. Not exercising enough, high insulin. Stressing too much, high insulin. So what do? Get rid of the carbs, eat whole unprocessed foods, primarily from fat and protein of healthy varieties, vegetables and fruits. Exercise 5 days a week, 2 days rest for at least 40 minutes, the resistance training. Sleep 8 hours every night, no excuses. If you don't want to do that, then you're going to end up on blood pressure medication. Get into a community of friends with whom you can have fun. Community could be one person, one good friend better than 10 enemy around you. And practice proper self-care routines and find time to relax your brain and de-stress. This is the cure. And to help you along, take your magnesium, vitamin D, CoQ10, garlic, and of course, hibiscus tea. See you all. Take care. Please, if you're on the live, please follow the page right now and link in my bio to join the 90-day body reset. I'm going to give you the number, but I have to break up the number because TikTok is going to say, boy, I give you a number and I'm going to block me. So the number is a Jamaican number. So the area code is 876. Write that down. 876. Yep. So you're going to WhatsApp that number to get on the challenge. Next part of the number is 583. Can't say old number straight, can I break it up, you know? Can't be like a phone number. So 583, the next part of the number. And then the last part of the number now is 5632. So send a WhatsApp to that number now and say, Doc, I want to reverse my hypertension in 3 months for $99 USD. That's it. Good night. Take care. See y'all. Over to you, Sister Wellness.
All right. Thank you so much, Doc. That was wonderful. Lots of great information was shared. And are you taking questions? What's the plan?
No, I'm not actually. I gotta go.
All right. Okay. So we want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. And the presentation is on Dr. Thomas's YouTube page. And when you get onto the page, you will scroll to live. There you will see it and you'll be able to share it with others or just go back to rewatch it. And if you've missed the names and the quantity of the supplements that Doc shared, you can go back there and there you'll find the information. So have a great night. And to our 90-day challengers, we'll see you in the chat. And for those who are considering joining, the person who invited you, they will send you the information so that you can join our 90-day body reset program. Thank you, everyone. And someone's asking me, Sister Wellness, please add your handle. So just, it's on YouTube. It's Sister, SISTA, Sister Wellness. And if you're on TikTok, it's my son and I, Jacob. It's Cooking with Jacob 9. And there you'll see some of my recipes as well. All right. So have a wonderful night and a wonderful week. Good night.